Hey team, wanted to talk to you. Oh, I need to take these glasses off because you're not going to be able to see my eyes. Here we go. Hey team, hope we're all doing well. Now I want to talk to you guys about Drawdown because obviously it's a natural, healthy part of any great edge, any great system. And a lot of novice traders, a lot of traders in their first, even their first 2-3 years, find detaching from individual outcomes incredibly difficult. And, I think this video is really important to make and just sort of raw talking to you guys from the heart because, I can now look back on my journey and I've been there, I've mastered that law of detachment. I'm very, like I said, a very level-headed emotional spectrum. And just a few tips. I want to talk to you today about how to reframe thinking in here when you are in drawdown and when you do have those feelings of maybe anxiety, you do have those feelings of wanting to tilt and wanting to pull yourself out of drawdown like that because it feels really uncomfortable. And that's human nature. That's very human way to feel when you're in trading and when especially you haven't mastered your mind yet with trading. But I say to traders to begin with, remember what profitability is about, right? And remember what trading is about with its core fundamentals. Now, trading is ultimately a game of, as we know, probabilities. It is a game of being a brilliant risk manager, first and foremost. And if you can manage and protect your downside, the upside takes care of itself. As long as you've got a great system, right? And you can manage it properly here. So I say to people when you're in drawdown, so let's say you've had 3-4 losses on the bounce, 5 losses on the bounce, right? In any system, that can happen. That's really, really normal. And I always say to people, this is why you've got to know your numbers, okay? And this is where brilliant in-depth journaling comes in as well. You've got to know that even with a high win rate system and a low risk to reward system, you will still have variances of data where you can have 4 losing trades on the bounce, 5 losing trades. You can't avoid that. That's the law of probability. That will happen. I can guarantee you that. Now, obviously, with a higher asymmetric risk reward system like a 1-to-3, etc., and which comes with obviously a slightly lower win rate, you're going to have the same, of course, as well, right? You're going to have 3 losses, 4 losses, 5 losses. So first of all, you've got to know your numbers because when you are in drawdown, there's something quite as long as you can tell yourself at the time, there's something really quite peaceful about that, knowing, okay, all the trades I've taken that have put you in drawdown, you're happy with them when you look back on them, they were all optimal losers, and you go to yourself, right, although I might feel anxious right now, I might feel worried, I feel like I need to change this immediately, you tell yourself you're aware of how you're feeling, but you don't act on those emotions because then the logical head and the trading head comes in and goes, okay, I know this is plausible and this can happen with my system. I know that the data, I'm going to have periods like this as part of the data. You also tell yourself that, again, trading and results is random distribution. So you might end up having 4 wins on the bounce and then a loss, a win, a loss, a win. You might end up having 5 losses on the bounce and then 3 wins. And then the random distribution is there, regardless of high win rate, low win rate, whatever. Doesn't matter. There's random distribution to your results. Remember, we can't control the outcome of each trade. All we can control is being a brilliant risk manager. But the big thing I get my traders to tell themselves is really, really helps them make that mental shift, okay, from unprofitable up here to a profitable thinker, a probabilistic thinker, the right type of thinking, right? Is if you're 3, 4, 5 losses on the bounce, as long as you've not been an idiot and broken your rules and it's that normal, healthy drawdown, I say to my traders, look, if you're 4 or 5 losses on the bounce, what are the odds? What are the probabilities of your next trade being a winner, right? Whether it's low win rate, high win rate system, the odds are really, really high, really high. And as long as you're patient in that moment, instead of trying to force and tilt a trade because you feel uncomfortable, as long as you wait for that next optimal setup, okay, when that next trade comes, there's a high chance it's a winner, okay? You don't do anything different, you operate and execute your system as usual, right? And if you're like me, who trades an asymmetric risk to reward, those winners in drawdown especially are hugely powerful, okay? And they do such heavy lifting. And so I say to people, look, reframe when you're in drawdown. Go, okay, yes, you've had 3, 4, 5 losses on the bounce. Fine, normal. We know it's within our data. It's normal. The next then type of thinking from there is, right, through the laws of probability, what trading is at the end of the day, right? Through the laws of probability, there's a high chance my next 1 or 2 trades are going to be winners. They could both be winners, right? And if you're like me, if I have 2 winning trades, that's returning me at least 6%, at least, probably more. So, and again, there's something incredibly comforting about that. But so many unprofitable traders go wrong just before that step there, where you talk to yourself, like I said. And they're so uncomfortable in drawdown, they get so nervous about it. And that's partly because they've been lazy and they don't know the data of their system, right? Like we were on about earlier. But secondly, they don't like being in drawdown. They don't like all the gamification of the prop firms because they think I'm going to lose this account and all of that. It doesn't help unprofitable traders, these prop firms, in terms of the gamification. And then they end up tilting. They end up forcing a trade they wouldn't usually take that goes against their rules, goes against their system. And guess what? That drawdown gets worse and worse. And that's when healthy drawdown starts becoming unhealthy drawdown and avoidable drawdown, okay? Healthy drawdown is part of any great system, any great edge. Unhealthy drawdown is unacceptable, okay? And that comes from tilting, over leveraging, oversizing, not managing your risk. And at that point, you deserve to blow that account or lose as much money as possible. Just being honest, okay? There's no time in trading for you being a degenerate gambler, or otherwise you'll never make it. And that's just me being honest, right? And I've been there, trust me. I've had those hefty losses in those early days. If you haven't seen my story already, I've lost 32 grand once because I couldn't keep this in check in my first few years. But that was a massive turning point for my profitability after that moment, right? So I've been there. I know how it feels, but I've also come out the other side. And you have to talk to yourself like this in terms of knowing and thinking probabilities and thinking, right, the more losses that happen in a row, it's not going to happen all the time, obviously, but when it does happen, I can guarantee you it does happen. It's not going to happen all the time, which is good news for you guys. But when it does happen, and it will happen, it's not an if, it is when. Not but when. When it does happen, you go into that mindset more than ever. You go, right, okay, 3-4 losses on the bounce. As long as I don't misbehave, I take my next trade as planned. I manage that risk accordingly, and that static fixed risk accordingly. When those winners come, it erodes those losses, those losing trades so quickly. And then once you're back out of drawdown, you look back once you're a bit more relaxed and you go, oh yeah, it was fine in the end. But so many of you unprofitable traders never end up having that realization because you've blown your account, because you tilted. Whereas if I'm in drawdown, like I said, it's relaxed, it's chilled. I'm still in that middle emotional ground of the spectrum because I've trained myself that way over the years. And I just go, look, my setup's not there. I'll happily sit in drawdown for 3, 4, 5 days. Even if it was weeks, it's not. But if it was, that's fine. I can deal with that, right? And you just wait for that next optimal trade. And it's about being really, really patient in that instance. So guys, I hope that helps. It's just a little bit of, hopefully, if anybody's watching this and you are in drawdown, it's just this video will just be a really good shove in the right direction for you up here to go, okay, it is normal. I can't tilt. I've got to be patient. I've got to push the reset button. If it means you don't want to trade for 2-3 days because you're feeling really anxious and heightened, so be it. Shut your monitor, shut your laptop, get lost and come back to it maybe next week and adopt the stuff I've just been talking about, because you will pull yourself back out. As long as you've not been lazy and you've got a great system and you know the data behind it, it's fine. Drawdown's normal, it's healthy. And if you're getting really emotional about it, there is a huge amount of emotional sort of work you need to do on yourself, both in trading and outside of trading. And that's not me being an arsehole, that is just the way it is. The natural human brain, I did a video on this the other day, the natural human brain is not wired to trade. It's not, okay? From day dot, from birth, we are taught that losing money, although it's temporary, obviously, temporary losing trades, right? Losing money really sort of ignites our nervous system in that fight or flight zone and gets us very heightened and very stressed, which we know is not good. So for you to become a long-term profitable trader, or even a profitable trader in the short term, you have to go on a bit of a mindset shift, a mental shift. You've got to have good mental health for this game. You really do. It's just a non-negotiable. So guys, I hope that helps, and hopefully this video is a bit of peace of mind for a lot of you that are potentially sitting in drawdown, and that it is normal, it is healthy, and how you then talk to yourself in drawdown and how to get yourself out of it. Okay? Guys, as always, thank you for watching. Take care.